please describe what Student Support Services does?
Sure. Student Support Services is a friendly, inviting office that helps students in a variety of ways, whether that be personal, medical, or academic.
Can I come to XCubed when I don't know what kind of resource I need?
Yes, definitely. We are here to support you as a student, so if that means giving you resources that we have on campus in connecting you in any way, we will do that.
What would I come to XCubed for?
If you were sick and didn't think you could take an exam, if you wanted help speaking to a professor about extensions, if you were thinking about taking a leave, if you were just having a personal issue in general, any of those things you could come to XCubed for.
But something that I think a lot of students do not know that we have through this office is an emergency fund that works for a student who might have an emergency in their personal family situation. So for instance, I might be from California and I might not have the financial means to travel because my mom is sick. If we find out that through the student, we refer them to this emergency fund where we are able to help the student purchase a plane ticket at no cost to the student. And that's something I think a lot of students are benefiting from it.
How do you advocate for students?
I think there's so many different ways that we can advocate for students. The first thing is to figure out what it is that they need. And from there, we follow up with either emailing or a phone call to a professor or an administrator to help them set up an appointment. Or sometimes with a professor, we discuss what the needs are for the student and we communicate that to them very clearly.
We initiate that sort of communication for the student as an advocacy, beginning role, but then we want the student to take ownership and initiative to continue to communicate with faculty, having the dean on the back as the advocate at this point.
Can I come to XCubed if I'm concerned about a friend? For example, what if my friend doesn't want to come in, but they're obviously distressed?
Mm-hmm. Of course you can come in to help support a friend. The first thing we would do if you were to come in is support you because we understand that that's a lot of pressure on you. Secondly, we provide some guidance and some resources on campus that you can share with your friend. And finally, we hope that you can convince your friend to come see us in person. And that way, we can really help assess their needs. You can either bring them in or they can come in on their own.
What's the difference between XCubed and MIT Mental Health and Counseling Service?
Mental health services conduct psychological assessment for students as well as provide therapy, counseling, and sometimes medication. Student support services provide support and advocacy for students. Of course, sometimes we often refer students to mental health services for additional support.
You're a private resource. What does that mean?
It's a very, very good question, and I'm glad you asked that. Private means that you and I will have this conversation in my office. You will tell me about anything that you want, and I will not disclose that information with anyone, with the exception or two exceptions. One, if you disclose to me that you're trying to hurt yourself or hurt someone else, I will need to disclose that. And that is because I'm a mandated reporter. Two, if you report that you or someone else has been sexually assaulted, we also need to report that to Title IX because we are a mandated reporter. That's private. Confidential is more mental health, the AMPA's office, chaplains, and VPR. In that case, confidential means that they cannot share anything with anyone else unless you have a written consent.